Have you been invited to some crazy exclusive games where the setting might have been a bit different than your average poker room?
I have, yeah, but I haven't got too good of an answer for you because most of the games I played are illegal and I can't really say.
Hello and welcome to the Poker Central podcast. Brent Hanks on my side, along with Sam Trickett, the one, the only. He, of course, played on Rob's home game. We have so much to discuss. First of all, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Good to be here.
Absolutely. You're here too. I'm glad you're here too, Brent.
I'm really happy to be here.
Right.
Although I was wondering, could we replace you? And can we bring Mika in?
Mika,
I'd rather.
I
want a Trickett sandwich.
Yeah, get her in there.
Yeah.
I'll quit if that's.
Get out of here, you mongrel.
Either way, we have so much to discuss. We're going to go through some hands from Rob's home game. If you missed any of the action, please go to PokerGO right now and catch it all on demand. 501K with a 200K minimum buy-in. That obviously is something you don't want to miss. Sam, we got to start with his hands. Why did it take you so long to fold pocket aces against the man who always has the nuts?
I know, yeah.
Oh boy,
9-ball.
the stone cold nuts for Phil Hellmuth.
I'm giving away 12% of 200K, so it's going to cost me
What?
like
Just rips it all in there.
4K to call
I know.
for the show.
Wow.
Debating whether is it worth 24K. I never told anybody that.
Pretty sure I'm folding, just making sure.
$293,000. Good fold by Trickett.
I like trying to my best to take my time in big pots, even though I kind of know what I'm going to do. Like before I even bet, I was like, all right, I'm going to bet fold. And when I bet, like kind of knew I was going to fold, but I just thought, might as well take my time just in case I can figure out some hand. And I've done that in the past where I've made a decision really quick and I've regretted it when I've thought about it afterwards. So you haven't really got anything to lose. You like might as well take your time just to make sure you could have like some sort of combo. I've seen him like kind of jam a hand like that versus Keaton on a cash game actually.
I saw that
with
recently.
King Deuce,
Right.
when he had like a pair and a flush draw. So I was aware that he could do it, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, he wasn't doing it this time. I was pretty confident that he wasn't, like almost certain, if I'm honest. But you know, because I'd seen him.
At the time, he was up what, like 80,000.
Exactly.
He's locking that win.
Exactly.
Up.
That's,
locked
that's
up.
That's a big factor. Yeah. So, but you've got to factor all that in. You just can't. It's pointless making a snap decision when it's such a big pot.
What's it like, dynamics-wise, to play at a table with a few guys that are basically wild cards, can do whatever at any given point, and Phil Hellmuth?
I mean, it's always entertaining. Like, it's good that I just love watching him play hands. Like, I'm a huge fan. Just like when he plays a hand, I'm just like always hoping that it's bad that he loses or he makes a bad decision because the reactions are always brilliant and priceless. And like when he's losing is when you really see that like, the big performance as well, which is like always fun. Like, he comes out with some classics as he is all week. And
That's what pisses me off is we haven't seen the Hellmuth blow up yet.
Right.
I want to rant, you know? We need him to lose.
Right.
Maybe today he'll lose. That's what I'm wishing for.
But that's the problem. He needs to lose a whole stack.
Yeah, all of it.
But that's usually not what happens.
No, yeah, he's so hard to stack him, right?
He puts like 75% in there, and then he just still finds a way to fold.
Or he just min bets you, and min bets you. You can't stack him, like, and he folds to every 3-bet. You can't. It's so hard to stack him. You just have to nibble away at him.
It's honestly incredible. Like you said as well, I think it was on the first night of Rob's
Yeah.
game, where he basically doubles through Rick Solomon right away. And immediately we were like,
over.
okay, he's going to fold his way to the end of the
It's
night.
over. Yeah, he attempted to lose chips with that Jack 5 offsuit hand. You and I talked about it yesterday.
I haven't stopped talking about it.
I mean,
Nobody
holy
has.
shit, I have absolutely no idea what he was doing. Even Hellmuth kicks himself for that hand.
Right.
Uh-oh.
40,000.
What?
Hold it to Rick.
What?
With the Jack 5. Comes 4-3 deuce, so Hellmuth does flop the open-ended straight draw, and it goes check.
There's 80,000 in the pot. He has 195 behind right now.
Another deuce on the turn. Here comes Solomon.
You think he might shove, Brent?
I mean, I think so. Just gonna call.
Makes the call.
Oh my God.
Queen ball on the river.
This is the problem with my magic,
Solomon
Brent.
shoves. Hellmuth folds.
He knew he should have raised the turn. Now, keep in mind, he said he should have min raised.
I know.
He literally said
I think
he
that's
should
his
have
only
re-raised.
sizing, right? He just loves the min raise.
Like, Phil, we're playing no limit. You know, you can move it in. You don't have to just. Yeah.
But isn't that also the beauty of a game like this, where when you play with Phil Hellmuth, you know it's going to be tight, but you also know that he might have a Spazz moment where he's just going to go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he does that. Like, I quite like that he has that in his locker because it does keep you guessing a little bit. Not, you know, don't do it enough, so like you'd be okay in folding. But Like, I kind of like think he has like a basic strategy before he comes in. It's like, I'm going to tell everyone to fold. I tell everyone I'm going to fold. And then he like almost sets them up. He's like setting them up for the one bluff. And this is like, and he chose his time with the Jack 5. He already had it in his mind he was going to do that all day, from what I gathered anyway. You know, from him saying all this. And he's almost like, it's calculated a little bit. And but to choose the Jack 5 against Rick, who opened up the gun, who doesn't fold, and then checks back when he makes his flop. That was
You know, he tried to do it in your game yesterday on day 2 with 9 deuce offsuit.
I see this 3-bet 9 deuce off. He was going again, yeah.
It's a 35,000, and nobody had anything. They all just folded, and he just sort of grinned and collected the money.
With the 9
Here
deuce
we
off.
go.
Oh my goodness.
This one was close.
Here we go.
Rematch at 38K.
He wants to get this through and just show it so bad.
He does
Switching
get
gears.
it through.
The hell needs solver. I like this. Nice play, Phil.
That's basically how I play. What I want to ask you about, which came up yesterday in the game, was when Rob Young started talking about nerves in a poker game. And he said, Rob was saying, I felt nerves the other day playing a big pot, and he said it was so strange to him. Do you still get that every now and then? And if you do, what does it take to bring out the nerves and the adrenaline for you?
When I first started playing, and I was playing a lot, I didn't get nervous at all because I was more confident in my decision making, and I was not rusty. I was playing all the time, and I was playing well. And I guess, and then like the one drop, I didn't get nervous heads up. I was super calm, and I can't ever remember a time where I got nervous playing poker. And then just recently, when I played heads up for the bracelet, I was playing heads up, and I hadn't played on a final table for ages because I hadn't been playing no limit hold'em tournaments. And I was like, and I won a bracelet too. I had a couple of seconds before that, and I was like, felt the pressure a little bit. I actually felt myself nervous and like misclicked a couple of times. I was like, whoa, what the hell? And like after the hand, I was like, even calculating the pot was difficult for me. And I was just like, didn't recognize myself. And I walked away to my wife afterwards. I was like, it's so weird. Like, I really need to stop playing again because I need to get back in the swing of things for me to get nervous on a fairly small stage in comparison to what I played in high stakes. Was unusual, but like the only way to overcome it is just practice, be confident, and know you're making the right decisions, and then it becomes a little bit easier.
What does it take to get you out of bed, though? Because these stakes are so big that I can only imagine that playing smaller is harder to be serious about when you have access to games like this.
Yeah, I play a lot of high stakes games around the world. I've done for the last few years. And yeah, I enjoy them more. Like, it really brings out my best game. Like, sometimes when I'm playing in the smaller stakes, I'm a bit sloppy. I don't think what's the best decision. I just auto-click button sometimes. And so I just stopped playing. Like, I stopped playing the smaller buying tournaments because, like, day one, I was never playing well. I was just punting around, and people are playing quite solid, and it was just spewing off a little bit. So I just stopped playing a little bit because I wasn't really enjoying it as well. Because, like, I enjoy poker when I play my best. Like, no one wants to play bad and walk away from the table. You just feel silly, right? So I only try and play in situations where I'm motivated to play my best. And then, yeah, I kind of prepare like decently for the bigger buying stuff. But outside of that, I'm just playing in really big high stakes games. And, you know, I play with some of my friends as well every now and then for a bit of fun, have some drinks, like small stakes just for fun, social games.
You said you like to prepare, especially when you know it's going to be a big game. Did you do any sort of preparation coming into Rob's home game?
Well, I don't watch much poker on TV, but like PokerGo's there now. It's easy for me when I'm traveling on Apple TV. And I watched yesterday's game, a little bit of preparation. I watched some other hands from the players I thought I was playing against, which turned out I wasn't playing against, so it was a bit of a waste of time. But all being said, like, I'm still watching poker, getting in the swing of things and just seeing what other people are doing. And yeah, it keeps me relatively sharp. But like, I play a bit online as well. I was playing on Partypoker heads up, no limit, 50, 100, like for 3 or 4 days against some good players. So that gets me sharp again and gets me in the swing of things. Because I've been playing PLO for the last few years, and like, then all of a sudden you just dive into a big no-limit game. You're like a little bit rusty, and it takes you a while, and you can make some mistakes, and it's expensive at high stakes. So I just try and just lose that ring rust before I start.
You're feeling pretty good about your PLO game right now?
Yeah, my PLO game's probably better than my no-limit game, if I'm honest. I'm playing a lot of that, and I enjoy it, and it's more fun, and you can get away with playing more hands, which is more my style. Like, but yeah, I think my PLO game's probably better than.
I don't want to know any names, locations, none of that, but how big are these stakes that you're playing in these PLO games overseas?
It varies. Like, the minimum real game I play is like 100, 200 PLO or something like that, and then 2-4, it gets bigger sometimes. It straddles, like, often straddles around the table all the time. So you're effectively playing on average, 500 1K or 2-4 or something like that.
Baby.
Yeah.
With all these pros always talking about how it's harder and harder for them to get into the games, I can imagine that in your position where, you're probably not seen as like a die-hard tournament grinder, GTO wizard.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel as though not getting to that level is more advantageous than getting much better, because now you might still have fun with those guys getting into the good games?
It's funny you say that, because I'm like in a part of my life now where I'm like, when I play like in the high stakes or in the high roll tournaments, I just know I'm not playing my best, and it's not very fulfilling. I walk away, and some players have know that play better than me, and they've done some things, I've made some mistakes, I haven't picked up chips like I used to, and it's not good for my self-esteem. And it's like, I know I can play better, but I'm not really like hungry like I once was. I was more motivated when I was younger to play my very best and play against the best players and prove myself and climb the rankings. But like, I just, I'm looking at the top tournaments now, and I'm looking like if I really put the effort in, the homework in, like these guys are, like how much edge am I really ever going to get? And it's talking like, marginals, percentages, even in those stakes, and if you have any. So plus there's a lot of variance in it. So so I'm just happy now to just I don't really work on my game too much. I just play a lot of poker, play against the players I need to play well against, and I don't honestly try my best when I'm playing in these games. Sounds ridiculous, but I enjoy it as well. Like I like to play a lot of hands, and I'm happy to give action against players that I'm better than, or are giving us a similar amount of action because I can get away with it. But like if I went into a tight game or a good player in tournament started playing, spewing around, I have no chance. So also I don't have to try as hard, I can enjoy it more. I enjoy playing hands, and it's more fun for me to play in a game where it's not as sharky and you don't have to go after every pot, you don't have to try, you don't have to check raise and isolate players all the time. You just play for fun, not look at your cards sometimes, just raise blind, and you can just dick around, and it's more fun for me.
Do you feel as though after the big one-drop run that because people saw you from TV, they wanted to play against you, they wanted to bluff Sam Trickett? Was that a thing? Did you feel as though people were trying to get after you so they had a story to tell at home?
It depends who it was. Some guys don't care. Some guys with an ego do care. Depends who it is. It all depends on the person. But yeah, it helped me get into games actually, those results back then. And that was working for me to get into good games back then, but nothing lasts forever.
God, you fast forward then, what year was that?
2012, right?
2012,
Yeah,
7 years ago. Now, if you were to win a tournament like that, there's no way in hell you're getting into some of these games.
No.
You're getting shut out, man.
It's almost bad, right?
Yeah,
It's almost
yeah.
bad. It's another reason why I don't really want to play. Show that I'm competing at that level and doing well. I think would be good in terms of me getting into all the games.
You're a businessman now, let's face it. Everyone out there, this is not a professional poker player. He's a CEO of a major company.
Yeah, kind of.
Big time business guy.
Trickett Corp.
And he's Asian. Yes, look at
I
him.
don't have a company name yet, so you have to come up with one by the end of the show.
Done. Yeah.
Let's pivot into some more fun stuff because everybody all knows about the poker story here. You've been through some crazy shit, as I like to call it, because we've seen this on social media. You posted about it. Some thievery going on. Obviously, you own some nice cars. People were getting after those. First of all, this wasn't the first time that people tried to rob you.
Yeah, give us a count. How many cars have been
It's
stolen?
the third time. No, it's not the third time my car's been stolen. It's the third time I've had my house broken into or my car stolen. Yeah.
And we're sort of laughing and joking about it, but this is really serious.
Yeah,
the first time it happened, they came into your house and you were sleeping upstairs?
Yeah, the first time I was in the Midlands and I wasn't in the house, but they went in and ransacked the whole house. They didn't get anything. I don't really store anything in the house ever of any value anyway. No, I don't carry cash anymore. There's no need, right? And so they didn't get anything, but that was a targeted attack, and they came in and I was lucky the neighbours and the alarms work, and they rang the police and they came and they got away with it. But then, I was living in my new location, and it's a nice area and a nice road, but these cars going missing every other night from around there. It's a real problem in London right now, and it's I had a Range Rover before that I bought for my wife. It was all custom made for her as a present, as a surprise. I had a name written on it and everything. So it was for Christmas that I did it for her as a surprise. So it was sentimental as well. And they just came. They didn't even come into the house for that. They came up with a device and hacked the key fob through the wall, and then just got in the car and drove it off. It was 2 minutes. It took them to take the car.
Oh my
We saw it on
God.
CCTV. Yeah, so that was annoying because I got ripped off on the insurance quote and everything as well because the modifications, I didn't get the value of the car back. And because it was the second night we moved into the house, we didn't change the address on the insurance policy, so they ripped us off there. So that was an annoying one, a bit of a bad beat. And then, so that was annoying. And then we finally got a new car, and we got this, the Mercedes one. And we loved it. We was driving it. It was it's nice to have a new car. We had a few Range Rovers. It was nice to have a change. And we got told to get a steering lock because then they can't drive it off even if they get in the car. We got the best tracker you can get. But they just came in the house. We had a pretty difficult house to get into. It's they said it was impenetrable, but these guys was professionals. And they've got in the house. There was probably 5 or 6 of them. I wasn't sure. At least 4 and 1 driver, so maybe 5 or 6. And they had balaclavas on and gloves. It was all kitted up properly. And they came in and they took a bunch of stuff, but again, I don't really keep much in the house, so it was nothing too valuable. And they got the G-Wagon, they pushed it off the drive because they didn't want to start it up because of the engine. And then they came back for the Ferrari, and it's actually pretty funny. I'd just done my insurance policy a week before, and they asked me to send my logbook with information so I could turn the tracker back on it, which would make my insurance valid. But I hadn't done it because I was lazy. It was on the whiteboard and I hadn't done it. And then 2 days before the car theft, I rang up, sent my logbook information, but they said, we need more documentation, send it off, and I hadn't done it. The morning I woke up, It hadn't been stolen, thank God, but like when I look back on the CCTV, they was in it trying to push it off the drive. And the only reason they didn't get it off the drive is because I was too lazy and I didn't trickle charge it, because the Ferraris need trickle charging every 3 weeks or they run die.
So your battery's dead.
Yeah, yes, so my battery's dead. And it's electric handbrake too. It's electric handbrake, so they're all trying to push it off. They must have been so steaming.
Oh my
God. Yeah, they must have been so steaming trying to get it off.
Son of a bitch didn't charge his battery.
Yeah, like lazy fuck. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So like for once in my life, like my laziness paid off. So it's like.
So that whole story with the Mercedes and the Ferrari, you're sleeping upstairs.
Yeah.
You're with the dogs.
This is what's really scary, and it's like, with all jokes aside, like we was asleep upstairs. We've got 3 little dogs who like yap a lot of the time when anyone comes in the house. Like if I ever come in like late night from poker, like they always yap and wake me up, wake my wife up, and they just didn't hear a thing. It just shows like how professional these guys was.
Oh,
and it's really scary because you know, I saw him on the CCTV in the house. Like if I'd have come down in the middle of the night and there's 2 guys in balaclavas in my house, like God knows what would have happened, whether they would have just gone upstairs or we might have attacked them naturally. Like you just don't know how bad it could have got, and you know, and they could have come upstairs, and you know, I've heard of my friends having it happen to them, and they get tied up and stuff, and they just take everything. Then once they wake you up, they're like, well, we're in for a penny, in for a pound, I might as well take everything. So it really could have been a lot worse, and like, you know, so I look at it like, yeah, I got the G-Wagon stolen, but I got him insured on that, and I got paid out. My Ferrari could have gone, which I don't know what would have happened with the insurance, and then, you know, they didn't. I'm not harmed, and I kind of got away with it quite lightly. If I'm looking at it, because it could have been a lot worse, really.
Well, you fought them, and that's why.
Yeah, I knocked them all out. The one last hit me with a pole, but if you didn't have the pole, I'd have got him. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's crazy. That's insane.
It's pretty scary because now, like even going to sleep, like something that I'd never had to think about. I'm like laying asleep, and then my security light goes off now, and I'm like checking the CCTV to see if anyone's there, and it's like a fox or a cat. And it's like affecting my sleep a little bit, and my wife's obviously scared as well, which is not nice. Like you want to feel safe in your home, like, and now all of a sudden we're looking out the windows over our shoulder, and like we're looking into moving the house already. And we rented the house for a year. We've only been there 6 months, and we've had 2 burglaries. It's happening all over the place. So it's just, you know, we're thinking about downgrading our cars. You know what I mean? And not getting a nice car now. And it's like the first time the car got stolen, my parents actually advised me to not get a nice car because I'm a target, and I was like, I'm not letting them fuckers control my life or dictate what car I buy. Like, screw them. But you know, he probably has a point. Like, and it's like I don't want to put me and my family in that sort of position if people are willing to come into the house to take the car. So I'm going to make some changes. I'm probably going to buy a house, which I wasn't planning to do right now yet because I don't know where I'm going to live, and just like ramp up all the security and maybe even downgrade my cars.
You should get the new Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah.
They try and break into that, it'll literally shoot them.
Yeah,
the whole thing is just armed. It's ready to go. It turns into a transformer.
Yeah, they're sick cars,
incredible.
actually. They are sick cars. I don't like the shape and the models of them, but I've been in one. They're brilliant. I'd actually have one if I liked the design a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah. But they're nice. They're quick as well, right?
Yeah, I mean they're super fast.
I'm gonna get one.
Yeah.
I put my down payment in. $100. That's what you have to do. You put a deposit down for $100.
Really? That's it?
And then 2 years later, you have to pay the other $70,000.
70,000. You're still looking for the
Put the 100 down, then you can tell your people you've got
I'll be fine
Yeah.
by the time we get here. 2 years, a lot of time.
This is a crazy story, but I'm sure you have much crazier stories that are maybe more on the fun side. What are some of the most fun places you've ever played poker in? On a yacht, maybe, you know, taking a helicopter out to an island? Like, have you been invited to some crazy exclusive games where the setting might have been a bit different than your average poker room?
I have, yeah, but I haven't got too good of an answer for you because most of the games I played are illegal. I can't really say. But yeah, I've played in some good locations, like in the sun, like, and nice villas, and we I run games myself sometimes, just with.
No, he doesn't. He didn't
friends,
say that.
With friends for no money.
Very much. Play Monopoly.
But like. Yeah, and in London, I have a nice venue there, Maxim, so I run games from there. Dusk Till Dawn, I run games. And I get games there. But I haven't really got a great answer for you on that one. It's generally just casinos.
That's a good answer. Nope, never played anywhere inside the casino. Very good.
The partying days, though. Married man now. I know you and the lady probably like to go out together. I mean, she's also a DJ, so I can only imagine that she likes the nightlife as well. But I can only imagine that the old single Trickett back in the one-drop heyday must have racked up quite a tab at some Las Vegas.
She's listening out there.
She's listening, good.
So I got to be careful.
So this might be the first time she's ever hearing the story.
No, I told her right off the back, actually. The night I met her, I was like, I told her what I was all about and like my history, my track record and stuff. Because yeah, got pretty wild back in the day. And it got even more wild when I started hanging with Phil a little bit because he was equally as crazy as me. And like, yeah, we had some big parties and like times I'll never forget. And it was like a chapter of my life I've kind of shut the book on now. Still like from time to time, I'm a bit more selective. Like, I'll go to Burning Man and I'll go to like some festivals if like the right group of people are going. And but it's more thought going to it now. And I love Ibiza. Like Ibiza, the music's there is like on point for me. Like I'm all about like if the music and the people's good, I'd party anywhere.
Right.
But like ideally in the sun as well, like even better. But like yeah, there's some crazy parties, and again, I don't really know which one to say and which one's appropriate. But,
right.
And it all like kind of a big blur. Like I can't, you know, you just all rolls into one. People come up to me and they're like, "Can you remember that night out we had? It was like the best night ever." I'm like, "No, which one?" He's like, "Did this happen? That happened?" I'm like, "No, well, I honestly can't remember." He's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "What's your name again?" Yeah, it's like, because you meet so many people and imagine how many people like want to join your party, and before you know it, you're hanging around with a bunch of people you don't know sometimes and like latching on. It's the best night of their lives, but like it was just also normal back then. Going out, getting all these tables and having these after parties, like, and it's just, you know, it's pretty crazy. But to be fair, since I've been with Mika, we threw like a party in my villa in Ibiza. And that was pretty insane. Like, we got Eric Murillo rock up and we had a defected DJ turn up.
Wow.
Yeah, and a bunch of people that invited, like a really good crowd as well, like free bar and everything like that. And that was fantastic. People in fancy dress, dressed as chickens, like looking like idiots.
Chickens?
Yeah.
I'm coming to the next one.
Yeah,
I want to
just-
dress up as a chicken.
Like mermaids in the pool.
Yeah.
Like really odd stuff, like really
Right.
put the effort in. Like, I'm all about preparation.
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, just themes. I like a theme for a party. Like now if I have a party, it's just I like to have a theme. Like I like to see my friend dressed as a chicken or like dressed a fake mustache or a top hat because it's just funny. And it's like, and it almost sets the tone for the day, like sets the vibe. You don't take yourself too seriously then, and everyone's like more open to having a bit more fun and being a bit more silly, which is kind of like my personality when I'm partying.
Your poker lifestyle is what they sell us in the movies. Meanwhile, all these GTO guys are in the basement trying to figure out how to play poker. As we wrap this up, a few more small things. The future of Sam Trickett, the married man, I'm assuming maybe a bit more at home, a bit less travel. What do you see yourself doing in the next couple of years?
Kind of doing what I'm doing. I enjoy playing party poker stops. Like I enjoy playing the odd tournament every now and then. I don't like grinding, but I love like going to their stops. They're always good, and like I'm friendly with all the staff there, and that's like nice. It's like a little bit of like a community feel, and I enjoy working there. So I'll play them stops, and then like play some cash games in between. And you know, if there was like a super high roller, like a million or like a real big one, you know, I often will play that as well. So I just enjoy my poker. Like before I was grinding, I was working and I was grafting, like putting the hours in around the clock and missing sleeps and doing this and really working hard. Now I just like kind of live more of like a steadier lifestyle and just pick my spots a little bit better and play. And yeah, and hopefully we'll have a family in the next few years. You know, that's something we have in mind, but we're just enjoying ourselves while we can, because once you have kids, you know, I've heard, I don't know, but I've heard.
No,
he knows.
Yeah, I've heard it's,
tell you,
it's a whole new game, right? So
It's game over.
yeah, everyone says the same thing.
He
so
put on 60 pounds, so be ready for that.
Yeah.
You're going to get fat.
Yeah.
But it's great. You're going to love it.
Yeah,
You're going to absolutely love it.
I look forward to it. I really do. Like I've always seen myself as a dad, and like I really want to do it. And when I do it, I'm going to do it my best to my ability, and that's going to be like my goal, to be like a good dad. So I look forward to it. All my friends have kids, and it'll be nice for when we finally do decide to do it.
Awesome. Sam Trickett, ladies and gentlemen, such a pleasure to have you on the show, as always. Great stories once again. Thanks so much for watching. This was the Poker Central Podcast. Stay tuned for much more and catch all the live poker action also on demand on PokerGO.